Welcome back to another episode of the Blitz Break. I'm your host, Phil Rasmussen, and we're back here on another Friday. Thanks for joining us. And as always, I am joined by my partner in crime over here and readily degrading shoe-wearing man and Texan, Buzz Howard. Welcome back, my friend.
You know, I told everybody I was going to buy new shoes over Thanksgiving, and then I sat on the couch all weekend, so...
It's really hard to say, but like the further I get from them, the worse they actually look. It's really concerning.
They're so comfortable, though.
God. Yeah. Okay. Hey, comfort wins. And back again and looking very festive and ready for the holidays. Our social media guru, longtime mortgage, title, and real estate social networking superstar, Julie. Thank you for being back again.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Love the hair today.
Thanks. Thank you.
Ready to roll.
Big party tonight. Had to get it ready for my party tonight. Yep.
I wish my hair would stay in one place long enough to do it in the morning and hang for the night. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Another pro tip you could probably drop on me there.
Yep.
But our guest for today, very special guest and founder and CEO of one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing real estate company in Northern California and the greater Sacramento area. A $3.5 billion this year? Was that right?
That might be a future amount.
Future amount goal? Okay.
But on our way.
On your way?
Yep.
And part of the Forbes Global Properties Network and
Yes.
Very much kind of the real estate company in the greater Sacramento area. Maureen Barker, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yay.
much.
We've been chasing you for weeks.
Oh. Hey, I'm here. I'm hopefully.
Very, very excited to have you here.
Yes.
And
yes, we're excited.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
So much happening in your world. I mean, I see what's going on with Guide and all the the growth, and I think a great way to kind of kickstart it is to really just ask, with all the experience and all of your background in the real estate industry, talk a little bit about the journey that led to the launch of Guide.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you all for welcoming me here. This is a very cool setup. I appreciate the warm welcome. Well, let's see. Guide, you were there. We just passed our 5-year milestone, which is incredible. It's been a bit of a blur, honestly, but it's been fantastic. And we're thrilled with where we're at. The journey really became 20 years in real estate leadership, management, ownership, saw a vision for a more forward-thinking, modern, meeting the real needs of real estate agents. And there was an opening to do so, as opposed to being a part of a nationwide franchise organization. So 5 years ago, November 13th, 2020, I describe it as a little bit of a jumped off the cliff. Didn't know if my parachute was going to open, but it did. And with my great team, we've been able to create something really great for this market and now expanding.
Wow. So and your husband,
Yes.
your constant partner.
Yes. Rick Barker.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's always been there.
Yeah. So Rick would say, he was in the business before I was.
Right.
My path before real estate was retail. And I did a 13-year career in retail where I was a buyer traveling to New York once a month for 8 years, down in Los Angeles. And then we relocated up here to Weinstock. I transferred to Weinstocks when we relocated to Sacramento. My husband's previous job was working in pharmaceutical sales and then sporting goods sales. So he got into real estate first, and then he will describe it as I kind of copied him and I followed him into the business, right? And we were an agent team, but I focused a lot on my kids when they were younger. Then sort of when I became a team leader for Keller Williams in 2004, I got back in my groove of what I had loved to do, which is leadership roles.
Right.
And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of the agents you've been able to bring over to Guide, and they are long-standing agents at certain franchises, and you've been able to just capture them and bring them over to Guide. Tell me a little bit about that and how you were able to do that.
So when we decided, and it was our team, it's always about your team. It's never about one person, but my partner, Chris Ha, and then my team I had of great leaders, when we were starting to really think about leaving, a great company that had huge success and going out on our own, we knew that I knew in my heart that I saw the vision for where we could be and how we could attract and support top agents and producing agents. So a lot of it had to do with creating the model that would meet their needs. And at the end of the day, my background from retail, in college, I worked as a server for 4 years. I'm a customer service first leader. And serving others is why I get up and get out of bed every morning. That's what drives me and fuels me. Pairing that with the most innovative solutions for agents when they need to have so many things to compete and be relevant in the market was our goal, to provide that as opposed to what was offered out in the marketplace. So that was really the foundation we laid, and then we kept telling our story, and then really we've grown organically by referral. Agents joining us, really being happy, telling their friends. So that's how we've attracted so many top agents. We made a decision early on that we were only going to hire experienced professionals that have a certain criteria level of business, and we've doubled and tripled down on that. It's been the right thing to do because that allows us to provide more resources for that group of people who, by the way, need lots of help too, and not take on not have a competing interest where we're bringing in new agents and training. That takes a lot of resources from brokerages, and a lot of those brokerages do that well. We say, go ahead and join those companies, but we are for the producing and top producing agents.
Right. And that works both ways because then those top agents collaborate with each other and even rise higher.
Yes.
It's a great concept.
Yes. I have when I meet with agents, I walk them through our deck, and I have a 6-bullet point why agents are with Guide. And it's a lot of cool things about our resources and what we support. But I always say the number one reason, one of the bullet points, is the agent community. We have the most incredible community of agents. I'm so proud to be in business with. They're lovely people, and they are successful people. My criteria is always first, are they a good person? Do they have a good reputation? Will they play well in our community? And that's my leading focus before any other aspect of their business. So
100%. My company, same. We kind of look at the character of the person and will they fit in the culture. It's a big deal that I think it's not always about revenue and how much money they can bring. It's what can they bring to the team.
Yeah, that's
totally
right.
Agree.
That's right.
Well, I think the thing that to me is always really interesting when I look at what you're doing with Guide is my belief is, and based on experience, is when you try to install a tool, try to create a new service and a resource, the biggest challenge in our industry over time is adoption and like usage of a lot of the tools when you install it. What really creates the kind of the magic is when you have producers who use it and help you make it better. So whatever your idea is, you need the feedback of their usage of it to say, no, it works really well this way, but I need this added to it, or I need to tweak it. And that's where the magic comes. So you have this vision and idea of how can I add value or provide a service, but if they don't use it and kind of give you that feedback, you can never really maximize its impact.
Right.
And that philosophy of bringing on people that fit the culture and are producing is really creating the perfect storm of having the most people using the things that you're offering and helping you make them even better. And I think that's, in a lot of ways, it's a very simple concept, but it's very difficult to execute when you've got a wide array of people. So I think the idea has, makes sense, but the proof is in the pudding and the growth that you guys are seeing.
Yeah.
What's the most common thing you hear from your agents in like the first 90, maybe 180 days that they're with you, where you get that kind of like feedback loop of, wow, this is really working?
Yeah. Great question. So we have a very significant onboarding program with our agents that we are bringing to the table. Some of it starts before they leave their previous brokerage, just to get a lot of things laid out. A lot of it has to do with, so here's how I would describe it. You're an agent. When you show up to a listing appointment, you maybe have a really nice presentation. But in the modern era, when a client is trying to decide to hire a listing agent, what are they going to do? They're going to go on the internet and they're going to research that person. What are they looking at? They're looking at their website. Does their messaging and their story they're telling on the website match what the client's looking for? They're looking at their Google reviews, because it's right there. How many reviews do they have? And does it look, like it's maximized? They're looking at their, Zillow or some other place that shows how many sales they had, right? So all of these things are super important. What we do at Guide that's unique is we fix all that for them. So let's say I'm an agent, I've been around for 25 years, but I don't really know the internet that well, and I don't know how to fix it. Agents will go out and they'll try and find someone to help them. They'll hire a service, they'll talk to a friend, they'll try and figure it all out. We do that for them. So number one, we're helping them tell their story in a way that is that's consistent with when they show up to a client's home, right? So that's number one. Number two, most agents, this is a philosophy. This is kind of a loaded question, but this is a philosophy. Some companies, their brand is the primary, and the agent is seen under that brand decision as a salesperson. Other companies see the agent as the primary, and the business that the brokerage they join is the foundation. We are in that camp, but we take it another step, because not only do we help them and say, yep, you can have your own look and feel of your marketing, and you can have your own messaging and your own website, we also create all that for them. So that's why so many agents say your branding is great and your agents look so good. And it's because we own that design piece, yet we customize it for every agent. So there's a consistent quality control and look and feel. And so their marketing looks great. Their online presence matches who they are. So now what happens is the emotion that agents feel when they join Guide is, everything looks great. Everything I wanted to create, I have help now. I have someone helping me do that. And so it becomes a very elegant solution throughout the company where people feel really good about how they're coming across now. We don't just say, okay, you can put your name on your picture on your sign and put your information. We double down and we go, yes, we're the foundation brand, you're the primary, but it's all going to look cohesive. And that's really where people say, yeah, it's amazing. So that's that part. That one thing that you asked me too about, or you mentioned implementing, how difficult it can be to have these great resources and tools, but the implementation is really lacking. Here's what we found, Phil, is we don't just train them how to use it, we implement for them. So we do a lot of work for the agent to get them up to speed. When they come over, we upload their database for them. We tag it. We make it correct. If they want us to manage their database, that's an option. We have a system, and we have resources for them through that. So we continue to take stuff off their plate, and that's our secret sauce.
See, for me, that resonates beyond belief, because that's, and you and I have talked philosophically, I think that is the number one gap that I've seen in the industry on the mortgage side and real estate is a lot of the things that involve marketing and branding. It's a completely different role. And,
yes,
real estate agents, mortgage originators are kind of asked to do that.
Sure.
And it's a distraction from what their number one skill set is, which is to sell.
That's right.
And to create relationships and to generate. And so it's so essential to create that custom,
Yes.
Genuine, authentic brand
Yes.
and network. But if I spend all my time doing that, I'm not spending my time doing the thing that's going to actually connect. And so I every time you and I talk, I'm just so inspired by it because I see the world the same way, and that restriction and the feedback loop of it's getting into place and then them seeing it.
Yeah.
When you put it in the hands of producers like you guys have already done and continue to do, you see exponential results, right? Because now they're that much more confident. When you sit down and look at the resources and the tools that you're taking off, what are some of those things that you see and go, man, this is the thing that would take off their plate that moves the needle? I know there's a lot that you do, but what are some of the things you see, get the best feedback on?
So here's the interesting thing. My background in retail, I've been involved in kind of forward-thinking things for my previous company at a high level. I created an in-house branding product and created a sub-company to deliver that. So it was in 400 offices nationwide. So I always have my eye on design, aesthetic, branding. It's something that's been part of my DNA. When we were thinking about launching this company, my partner, who's, Chris, incredible tech talent, and more than that, he and I are exactly on the same page when it comes to supporting agents and caring about their businesses individually. So sometimes I think stuff up and then I say, can we do this? And then he figures out how to do it, right? Sometimes he'll inform me of something that's happening out that we should be paying attention to that's really cutting edge. So then we figure that out. So we have so much fun constantly, thinking about things. And then now we've grown our leadership team to also be in that conversation, to have really great input and things that I wasn't thinking about. So when you say, what do you really focus on? What turns, what really moves the needle? I think it's the platform of belief that if we're going to help you instrumentally change your business, and we can sit with you and show you what we have, but also say, what do you need? And then figure out how to solve for that. That's incredible. And that happens every week with us because we have figured out how to individualize customization. And through our, we couldn't do what we do without our partnership with Chris. We have a large team that delivers for our agents. So once they join and we build their brand and they're involved in the process and they buy off on the designs and all the things they need, now we have a very simple ordering system, very simple. Like he tried to make it as few fields as possible, just minimal information, get it going. But we right now, Guide creates between 4,000 and 5,000 unique marketing requests per month for our agents. Wow. So we're a machine, and we can scale that as big as we want because we have the infrastructure built out. So that's exciting because one of the difficult things about being in a traditional brokerage who doesn't have this mindset is, who the heck are you going to get to help you make this stuff? Who's going to design it? Agents want unique things. How do you manage that process? It's impossible. So agents then go to the outside world and try and find solutions, but you're either stuck spending a ton of money with like a marketing firm creating custom stuff, or you're stuck with Canva templates, right? Mm-hmm. So we just find the path that resonates with the agents. And so I would say the one that moves the needle is taking their story, their brand, their marketing deliverables, how they show up, and it's cohesive.
So brilliant. Being in the title and escrow space in sales and marketing, we've crossed paths many times.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. one of the things I'm meeting with top producing agents is they all have something in common, that they know how to build rapport and trust quickly with their customers. That's why they're so good. But they all struggle with what you're talking about. And I cannot tell you, if I had $1 for every top producer, that their database and personal sphere was not in order. It just blew my mind, right? Yeah. But what you've done is you've taken their weak spot and you've made it now their strength, and now they have more time to go out and do what they do best. Brilliant. Just
time,
the piece that was missing. Yeah.
And confidence, right?
Yes.
They're not embarrassed when they show up because they like, oh, I hope they didn't look me up on the internet, you know?
Right. And they are, I would say, I'm speaking from mature.
Yes, that's right.
I'm going to tell you that.
Yep.
And I think they're afraid. They're afraid of video. They're afraid of social media.
Yes.
And you kind of got to get started, but you've kind of taken that away and let them run being who they are. It's a brilliant concept.
Thank you.
Commend you.
It's a testament to your growth. And so from a standpoint of growth, what are your plans? What do you have planned for 26 and beyond? What's going on there?
So, before we launched the company, I had my 5-year plan, which probably is going to take more like 6 now. But, you know, and I had my long range plan. So my 5-year plan was to become the brokerage of choice for the choice agents in the marketplace in every submarket that makes up this area. So, so we've accomplished, we're about 3/4 of the way there in terms of how many agents I thought we'd have and how much business we were going to do and where we were going to be located. So we have 6 local offices. We have our Roseville Granite Bay office, which is our biggest office. And then we have offices in Sacramento, our ice blocks.
Yeah, beautiful office.
Thank you. And East Sacramento. Then we have smaller offices in West Roseville, because that's the future. And no one was really maximizing that opportunity. Auburn. We've really got a great growth happening in Auburn. And then we're in a small office in Folsom with future plans to focus on the 50 corridor. We want to still be in El Dorado Hills and Elk Grove. And then we'll probably be pretty much built out locally. Folsom, El Dorado Hills, and Elk Grove are the future. That was my 5-year plan. And then beyond that, so this is where I'll say I'm not afraid of big endeavors. And I'll share with you why, because sometimes I have agents go, how in the world are you like growing and keeping all track of all this? And like, but when I was in retail, I bought for 43 stores. I had to know every store manager's name, every department manager's name, all the players, some of the key sales associates. When I was, and then when we moved up here, I ended up being a regional manager for 26 stores, Emporium and Wine Stocks. And then when I was regional director for Keller Williams for 5 years, I had all of Northern California and Hawaii. So about 30 offices, about 5,000 agents. So I have a background since I was in my early 20s of overseeing larger things, right? It's kind of built into me. You know, I haven't just had like one location, and how in the world would I grow? So I've had a kind of large scale thought process. So what's next is expanding outside of this area. And we've kind of got a jump start on that because we opened our first out of the area office this year in Paso Robles.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. And then we have probably 4 other areas right now that are bubbling with interest. And our model requires smaller space and fewer staff because of our large centralized support team. So we're able to be more, I think we can be more nimble with growth than some of the traditional models out there. So California is my focus.
What's your philosophy in terms of the targeting and recruiting? Is it a specific, do you have some geographic areas, or is it relationship based paired with production? What's your strategy on that front?
It's always about the people first, always. And I've learned that through many, previous roles. It's always about the people. So if you've got the right person or group, first might start with one person. They have to enroll a group. So that's going to require a influence with the right people. Mm-hmm. Then if we can get a small group to say, yeah, we're interested. Now I can help you grow. And now it's a plan to, Paso Robles, I'll give you the background of that. So one of the agents in that group, I knew from the Bay Area from my regional director days. She had relocated down there. And she and I are friends. So she's been seeing what we've been doing for 5 years. And she keeps saying, oh my gosh, you guys need to come down here. This would be such a great fit for us. And I said, the timing's not right. And let's keep talking. So somewhere about in the last, I think around 12 or 14 months ago, she invited me to come down. I met with a few people, planted a few seeds. And then, as what happens in real estate, your office, that you're at might consolidate or leadership changes or things happen. And then suddenly people are like, well, I guess I'd be open to it. Or maybe even, you've introduced something and now they're following you and they're like, wait a minute, maybe we should look into this. And that particular group was kind of a dream expansion because they're all top they're like the who's who in that market. And so that was a no-brainer for us, but they had to get their whole group to buy in because they already had a satellite office that was from another brand and it was sort of like a agent-owned office, Mm-hmm. So it worked really well for all of us, and we've already doubled. I think we launched with 11. We're at 24, and now we're talking to some significant players in San Luis Obispo, which is, if you know that market, those are half an hour apart. So that'd be perfect for us. So that's how our first one went.
Cool.
My background with being a regional director, I know the important pieces, which it's always the people, to answer your question.
That's a huge piece. Well, I was going to kind of toss it over to you for the next question, Julie, too, on, towards the AI, social media kind of designs and what, we see you guys doing. So,
yeah. And I was just going to ask her that too. How does Guide use and leverage social media? Now, does the agent, are they in charge of all their content? Does it have to run through Guide? How does that look? Because that's always another challenge is
Sure.
How do you create consistency?
Right.
Obviously the branding, because
right.
one person's view of professionalism is someone else's, right?
Sure.
So how do you tackle that one?
Yeah. I think of all the marketing opportunities agents have, social media is the hardest one to delegate, right? You would know that. And because social media is authenticity over anything else. And so your choices are, again, back to hiring a firm to run it for you. If it's not personalized, whether you're buying Canva templates or you're spending thousands of dollars on somebody who makes pretty stuff, but it doesn't really tell us who you are, people won't follow it and they won't engage and it won't really matter. So what you guys are doing with this podcast, I've got some agents that do podcasting. I've got some agents that do YouTube videos, and we have quite a few media savvy agents. For the most part, they're creating their own content. Yeah. So I have a high on my list is figuring this out, because for some agents, especially as you brought up, the more longstanding mature agents who really, this is not their comfort zone, how do we support them and not make it look like everybody else's? I'm not pretending that we have it all figured out. I've got some ideas on it, but it requires a lot of work, a lot of focus. Now, AI coming into that, suddenly now there's going to be an easier way to produce content because of all the tools. Chris just trained on, what was it called? Pomelo. It's a Gemini product. Gemini is the Google version, and it's a very simple way to, basically talk in what you're looking for. It creates a campaign. So I don't know. I mean, my goodness, there's so much on the horizon. So but I think
Chris, tell me more about Chris. He's kind of he does it all in the background, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, just to put one more thing on the social media, because I have a background, my daughters were very early in. Buzz might even remember that. To social media, they had YouTube and they had Instagram, and they were, 2013 to 20. I don't know. One of my daughters is still actively doing that, but they worked with every brand and every.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, they moved to Southern Cal in 2013 because they were working with all the major brands and they wanted to be down there.
Big influencers.
Big influencers, yeah.
I've heard that.
So the only reason I bring that up is I understand how powerful social media can be, but it's got to be personalized. You know that. If you're running that. AI is going to change it. And Chris, so back to Chris. So I went. I'll tell a funny story. I'm like, Chris, I want to go to some AI stuff with you because he's going to all these things. And so we go to this AI conference in San Francisco where I'm all excited. We walk in to the conference and he's like, this is a more developer focused conference. So it might not be exactly up your alley, but I know you'll get some stuff from it. It was all over my head. It was all developers and engineers talking about AI. I'm like, so I can tell you what I did get from it. I mean, I guess this is good to get one thing from AI personally going to a conference all about it. We're moving from now, since we went to the conference, which was I think it was in September, I'm already seeing the change. So we're going from generative AI, so prompts, generating, to agentic AI, where you have an autonomous agent where they're starting to think for themselves and know you and know what you want, right? And so I understand that. That was good. So that was my one takeaway. The rest of it was over my head. It was just, they were talking in code, and it was so funny because I'm used to going to conferences with real estate agents. They're all like, "Hi, Buzz, how are you? Here's my card. What do you do?" And we go to this thing and everyone's looking at their shoes and, they're all on their laptops. They're like not my people.
Totally quiet, nothing going on.
Yeah. They're brainiacs.
Devices,
yeah, they're just smart. They're engineers. They're creating stuff in their head. I don't know. But wasn't my
So
perfect
it's
fit.
so advanced, and I think because of that, the authenticity, which you've talked about it a little bit, is going to be so important.
Yes.
Moving forward. And I don't think people put enough value on it.
Yes.
But just, and I'm even selfishly going to ask you, as a salesperson, as a title rep, what does that role look like now? Because now you have ChatGPT and now you have everything at your fingertips.
Yes.
What do agents look for in a
Yes.
salesperson or somebody in that role?
Wow, that's a really good question. I know for many sales reps, the tools that they can provide, the current keeping agents up to speed on things they need to be paying attention to is valuable. The education part, right?
Yeah.
The tools per se, and I feel that, uniquely our company probably already has that built in and is offering it. So that becomes a little bit of a challenge. But I think at the end of the day, the best thing for sales reps in that space to do is be good listeners and say, how can I help you? And when they find something that the agent's looking for, be a resource for them versus just pushing out whatever the company has. Approach it from a problem solving and a partnership side. Mm-hmm. There's always value in those relationships, whatever it is, right? Versus you've got the coolest tool. I've been at this for a long time, and Buzz, you have too. But I remember, 20 years ago, title companies changed. I think our first transaction management program, a title company came up with.
Yeah.
So, but we've sped up. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I didn't even think about, all the tools that your companies are providing. That's the other thing. They've now added so much more value too. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch.
It will be. We all have to evolve.
Yeah, I think we're going to be looking at salespeople that are evolving, and it's more, I think, going to go in the direction of influence. How much influence do you have to bring customers to me. I think that's where it's going, but
Yeah.
that might be a ways out.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's where the market's going.
And from my perspective, because of my customer service and my putting agents first mentality, to me, it's how do I serve you more? What do I need to, how can I be your right arm in whatever this part of your business is would be very helpful. Agents are overworked, overwhelmed, not enough sleep, guilty on a regular basis when they have kids. Like that is the profile of successful agents. So the more you can help them take things off their plate and empower them and make them feel like you have partners, that to me is the most valuable thing you can do.
Great. That's great.
In particular to me, and it's heavy focus in my brain all day long, is what specifically will help this individual. And while there's common threads and there's commonalities in terms of resource creating scale, creating more time and bandwidth, at the end of the day, it's different for every person in its own ways, and that's 100%. Where the value comes into play. I think an individual person that AI can't solve, right? And one of the things that we were talking about before the show started, right, like video and people kind of having their apprehensions and their insecurities about being on video. I keep saying this over and over. Your imperfections and your flaws are going to be more and more valuable the more perfect AI video is created, because then I know it's a person and I know it's not an AI video. And for those that are, worried about being perfect, it's like this should encourage you to just be yourself, because that's what people want to see. Like I see videos all day long now of AI. It's all the deceased celebrities and it's constant.
Oh yeah.
And they're hilarious, but that's not where I wouldn't buy something from that.
Right.
And so I think that's as leaders, as people that are focused on providing value, you can't be more in a perfect, environment today than that ability to diagnose one by one for people.
Yeah. It really comes down to that. And I will say, leaders, in my opinion, if leaders want to succeed with leading people and attracting people, you have to get personal with every single person. And I know that sounds like, oh, how can you do that with 300 people? But that's what I do, and that's what my team does. We meet people exactly where they're at individually, and the more business they do, the more complex their challenges and problems are, and we're shoulder to shoulder with them. I've been doing, growing the company for 5 years. Every single week, I'm meeting with at least 5 agents from the outside and at least 5 agents that are already with me. I'm involved. I'm a grinder, and I don't pretend to sit somewhere and oversee stuff. Like I'm in the hunt every single day, and over time it adds up.
Absolutely.
So I think you've always been really close to Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that blows me away about Kurt, who owns American Pacific, started Big Valley Mortgage, is his incredible ability to know everybody in his company and have a personal relationship with them. And I think that you are a lot like Kurt. Obviously, you guys have been friends, and that's why people came to American Pacific to Big Valley Mortgage and stay, because of that ability. And so I see you as having that same ability. Kurt always amazes me. He can remember everybody's name, where he met them. He even remembered where him and I met back in 1983, 84, both starting in the industry, and would tell me things, and I'd go, God, I had forgotten that.
Yeah.
Things about me that I had forgotten, and he remembered them all.
Yeah.
And that's what's incredible about Guide and your leadership style.
Well, that's high praise, because I also agree with you that Kurt is phenomenal at that. I don't pretend to be that. I don't pretend to be at Kurt's level because I don't remember. I'm not as good with details as he is. But what I see in Kurt is he authentically cares. If you don't authentically care about somebody, it's not going to feel real. And I do authentically care, but he was always that way. Always. And so he's been a leader that I've paid attention to for sure. And, we're friends, and he's a remarkable person.
Yep.
That being said, if you're not authentic, if you don't really care, people feel it. And it's not just coming from my role. It's like my whole team, I have the most incredible, you guys know a lot of them, a most incredible team that has kind of come, it's interesting. Like I feel like they have just come, and I haven't really talked much about my faith, but I do want to say my faith, when I talked about jumping off the cliff and not sure if my parachute was open, I gave it all to God because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was okay with whatever was going to happen. If it didn't work out, I knew that he had my back. So my team, I feel like they've just come to us because God cares about Guide. I know that, for some people, it's true. And so I have the best team, and I have a most incredible staff of people. And the one thing that they all know, if Julie's an agent and she needs her problem solved, has to pick up her check, I will drive to the other office and get it for you before I'll let you be disappointed in us. My whole team feels the same way. Like, we're not going to let our agents down. And the agents feel that. It's real. I hear that more than anything. You have the best team. Everyone here is not just nice, but they care about me. And they should. This is what we're doing.
I talk about that all the time on my other podcast about the importance of caring about people as a leader, as a coach, as an influencer. When you have that fundamental piece, people want you to challenge them, hold them accountable, to help them become greater than what they are currently.
Yes.
And, there's a reason great leaders stand out.
Yes.
Because there's so many people that think they are leaders, don't take that step, don't actually care, and wonder why they can't hold people accountable, wonder why they can't create an influence because they've missed the most important piece, which is that.
Yes.
And there is no faking it.
No.
And if most of us have had leaders that have had a really massively positive impact on us, and we've had leaders that we've spent time around and they've made no impact, or they've had the counter effect, right?
Sure.
And if there was one thing that those aspiring to be leaders could really resonate, it's that piece. I think more than anything is that you have to care. And I've been to obviously plenty of your events and seen it, and that is, you cannot miss how that comes through in how you not only convey your message, but the way that you relate with your people. And so I think that's going to resonate with your team. That's going to cascade down. And so that's a really cool story. Do you have any agents that through the leadership team that you've cultivated that you've kind of seen almost evolve in terms of becoming leaders through being able to be absorbed in that environment? Because leaders create leaders.
That's right. Yes, we definitely have. Our leaders that we started with have all grown into new roles or expanded roles. And then we have agent leaders within our community as well. So we find opportunities for them to be leaders within Guide. So while we don't have managers in every office, we have what we call a team lead, which is a full-time agent who has a leadership desire background, or, it's kind of wired. They're kind of wired that way. And so you guys know Rico. So Rico's an agent, but he's our team lead in Ice Blocks. That allows him to use his leadership skills. And so and then Chad Tallick, who was our former broker of record in East Sac, my husband Rick, in our Roseville Granite Bay office. And then we have other leaders like Olivia Barrett, who runs helps run our masterminds, and Mike Bailey. So when people have that desire, we try and find opportunities for them to be involved and give back. We've had other agents in our midst who've done coaching, and Jessica Hilton came from my agent ranks into being my growth director. So absolutely, like you said, when people get the desire, it's a desire to help others more than yourself, kind of, you know.
That's exactly
that
right.
We want to find opportunities for them to participate. And as we grow bigger, it'll just continue to find opportunities.
More and more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We also have agents that are involved in leadership in the larger realtor community too, that we always celebrate and support, like, you know, board presidents and, you know, involved, like Jason Habib's the board president and Rico has been, and, you know, we have several people that have also been involved in leadership at that level too.
I have a systems question for you. So you don't manage, but you have this group of high performing agents. Mm-hmm. Is there like a weekly office meeting that you have? Like, how do they show up? What does that look like on a weekly, monthly basis?
Okay.
Quarterly?
I'm actually a systems geek. So the fact that you asked me this, I have a lot. What time are we at?
I love that.
So being in my previous roles, especially in retail, from a very, like I think I was 22 when I started in that out of college. And so using databases since beginning of time, I used to buy, as I said, for 43 stores. Every single store had a profile of, if I bought, you know, these sets of wallets, you know, which ones are going to which stores and what colors and what, how many extra SKUs would go to the bigger store. So systems are so important. And then so how it's, you know, implemented today. And again, Chris Haas, my partner on this, but really everybody on our team is involved in our systems. We have soft systems and we have, you know, back end systems. I know every single day, how many new listings we took, how many went pending, how many closed, what the agent's commission was, what our company dollar was, what our volume was, every single day. That's tracked. That's a system, right? We have all the requests on the back end side for marketing. Chris tracks. He has a very sophisticated system that tracks every single marketing request. Remember, I told you 4,000 plus. Mm-hmm. Knows exactly when it was submitted, who's it's been assigned to, where they're at in the process, is it's been approved. And the only way you can run an efficient, scaled business is to have systems. You can't just kind of hope 100%. Somebody did something, right? That level of systems is great for those kind of things, but we also have front-end systems. So we do have a weekly team meeting. We let the agents know in advance the upcoming team meetings through publishing it on our guide community, which is our internal feed of information on an app and also on our laptops. That right there on even how we communicate, I've said 1 email a day, that's it. Because a lot of real estate brokerages, they're bombarded with emails. It becomes white noise. They tune it out or they unsubscribe. So we rely heavily on our guide community, which is a app. But all the agents, we have a huge participation on that because they list all their open house opportunities. They find off-market deals. I just had an agent text me 2 days ago. He did 3 deals inside the company, and 2 of them were off-market through the guide community.
Wow.
We have, if there's anything on Zoom, it's going to be on the guide community, and the button's going to be right there to click now on Zoom. So that we have very dialed in. But we also have soft systems, like every single team meeting we do a recognition. So we have multiple recognition opportunities throughout the month. That allows agents, we post it on social media, they tag the agent, they get to celebrate that their clients, share in their success. They're so grateful for their clients or whatever. So we have 3 different types. One is top producers, but then we created 2 other ones that any agent could actually qualify for. One is $1 million month, and then the other one is triple threat. So take a listing, close a listing, open an escrow. So even if you're not a very large agent, you're going to have an opportunity to be celebrated, right? So that's a system. We have client events, which was something I wanted to bring into this model, because for most agents, to look at somebody putting on events is overwhelming, but they know they should double down and get closer to their existing clients and sphere of influence. So we do 6 things a year for them that all they have to do is pay the hard costs and show up. And we do all the work, the sourcing, the marketing, so we do 2 in-person events, and then we do 2 hand-addressed, hand-stamped cards with gift cards in them for them, and we do 2 pop-bys. So all of those things are systems. And I have told my team, consistency equals trust. When we've already published our list of all of the events for 2026, so the agents can put them on there. Consistency is so important.
That's our favorite word. Isn't that our favorite
right.
word? Consistency is our favorite word.
And I bring that up because that's not how most brokerages are run.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We really operate like a very large company, even though we're not there yet. We act like a large company in everything we do and what we provide. So scaling is pre-set up. Everything we do, we have scaling in mind.
The use of the word scale and creating, consistency, to me, the other word is simplicity. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Being able to go through the complexities of doing events, setting up systems, requires that you've got your brain trust of your group that's designing it, but then that exercise of creating the simple, scalable way to implement it that you can get adoption throughout. You do that in every step. Obviously, that's a big focus of like everything that runs through my brain, because in order to really scale, you have to now get the complex into simple format.
That's a good point.
And that's how you get a salesperson whose brain is preoccupied by the 50 things their clients have going on and the 10 things with their kids and the 5 other things with their spouse, and to get consistently involved in doing something is it's simple, or like we say, done for them, do it with them, and cut down on how many items they have to do for themselves.
Yes.
And I love the way you guys do things and just the way your systems are set up. Do you have any big initiatives in mind, moving forward that you'd like to add that are, that you're able to share with the audience, or that is
I can share it because it's still in the kind of vision stage, and I'm told we can do this, but we're not, it's still absolutely kind of in a visionary space. But I know AI is going to change a lot of things for a lot of people. I believe that agents will be relevant and important for years and years and years and years to come. I don't see them going away. But I've heard this phrase, and I agree with it. The AI is not going to replace the real estate agent, but it's going to replace the real estate agent that doesn't use AI, right?
Yeah. We've said that over and over.
I'm sure. Yeah.
very much.
Yes. So, and on your theme of simplicity, so we've solved for branding, getting your internet all dialed in, creating done-for-you marketing, done-for-you client events. So the same mentality that went into all that is going to go into how do we support our agents in AI. So what we're dreaming about right now and putting some effort into trying to imagine is that when you come to guide, you get your own AI agent that already knows everything you need. We've trained it. And you get a personal AI agent to help you with all these tasks. And we've made a list of all the tasks that we already can do. And it'll keep growing. But that, I think, is the future. Mm-hmm. And I think how we harness, because right now AI, and believe me, I am no expert, but it just is moving so fast. And with Chris, who is definitely plugged into all of the future on all this, it's moving so fast, but like things that, you know, some coaching company did an 8-week course on are irrelevant now.
That's
So
absolutely
8 weeks
right.
ago.
8 weeks ago. These little applications are either going to get gobbled up and put into whatever, Chris is betting on Gemini, by the way. That's like 2 weeks ago, he was on 4 different platforms and saying, I need all 4 to Perplexity and Grok and Claude and ChatGPT. Now he's like, it's going to be Gemini because Google already has the data. And now they are doing all these, they've either bought or they've developed all these sub things that you can actually use AI for. It's not just like, hey, isn't ChatGPT amazing? You put this stuff in, it makes this thing. Okay, but how does that really work in my life other than if I'm not giving a speech or I'm not looking up a medical problem, right? How do I really use this stuff? So Gemini has got all these cool applications, and eventually, agents are actually really going to figure it out and use it. So how do we be the first or be the
How
only?
do you get there first?
First,
Yeah.
or more most meaningful to actually apply to your business. So I kind of hit him with that. I go, can we promise every agent that they could have this? And he's like, yeah, we could.
Yep.
So we're working on that.
That's great.
Building out, it's all about getting the information in that trains the agent on who that person is, right?
That's
and what
right.
they need.
That's right.
It's a common thing that I'm now saying to people who are tipping in. We have a lot of therapy sessions with Buzz to get him on the AI. But when
I
people
actually
talk,
have AI now.
I know, I know. I had to
We're
go in and sign you up for it.
Having conversations with my chat. So her name is Mitzi.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Buzz, that's interesting.
Buzz, that is interesting.
What was
Should
it?
I have not have said that?
What is it about her?
You're doing so well.
All right.
I want to bring up a word. You said simplicity, and I agree. You've simplified it for the top producers to execute. I think you're great at executing what every top agent wants to do, but doesn't have the time to do. And I think you've done a great job with that, and that's very commendable, because that is the big hurdle is I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to learn this. I don't have time for any of that.
Yeah.
But you're able to code to that next step where they can execute and do it right away and focus on what they're good at.
Thank you, Julie. You're very kind.
I was at that. What she just said, my most common thing with people who are creating ideas is once the idea is there, you now have to turn around and get. I need to put it in play for somebody. I have to actually see its value take effect. There is a lot of people who get stuck in this is a cool idea and never execute and get the feedback loop of did it work how I thought it would?
Right.
Oh, I can get it a little bit better. And consistently with the AI piece, just to put a bow on this, I keep telling people whatever you think falling behind is, whatever that's looked like since the age of the internet, it is so many exponential numbers worse to fall behind in the AI generation, because at this point, there's a limitless amount of things that can start to get done once you figure out AI. So the scary thing is not just falling behind, but to really help people understand whatever you're because people will say, oh, I don't want to fall behind. But falling behind is essentially you're on, Earth and someone is 16 planets further down like a line because of how much can get done. And I think that is the message around AI that I feel really compelled to push on salespeople is you need to figure this out. It's not a maybe sort of kind of, you have to.
Right. So Chris would say, I'll speak for him. He's really, so all the AI conversations, right? Like I mentioned, there's a coaching company that put out an 8-week course and figure out AI.
Yeah, go away for 30 days and come back.
Yeah. Remember 6 months ago, it was I'll give you the prompts to get this exact thing you need. Okay. All of that is irrelevant now, right? It's gone. So Chris has been sort of sitting on the sidelines waiting for some of this stuff to actually have true application. Like we all believe this is going to be amazing, but how do we really use it, right? So he's been kind of sitting on the sidelines, and then with the Gemini focus, he trained on that on Wednesday, and now we're going to do a monthly series, because now there's actual things you can say AI, but use this one tool or use this application. It's going to apply to your business, where up until now it's been a little bit where you had to kind of,
stack them.
Right. So he said, I don't want to start training on, he said that when we were going to these conferences, I don't want to start training on it yet. And so now he is. And he's staying up late because he's all into it. So,
that's great. Exciting.
Well, so, you always have our tip of the week suggestion. What's this week?
The tip of the week for social media this week is to keep your videos short and concise, under 20 seconds. That is, I've been studying a little bit. People's attention spans are very limited, but authenticity is still going to be the king in 2026, but shorter and more value add is my tip for this week on pretty much every platform. They have different sweet spots. TikTok is under 17, Facebook is under 24 seconds, but right in that range is where you need to be. I would start planning that and being consistent. At the end of the day, if your social media is consistent, even if you do it once a week, twice a week, or 3 times at the same time every week, that's where you'll get the most traction.
That part, who can't be engaging for 15 seconds, right? Like
right.
It takes some thought, and there's plenty of value around the AI conversation just to create the concise way to say things. But
I stutter for 20 seconds.
I was just going to say your ums last a good 32 seconds.
No
So,
Maureen, see what I have to put up with?
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
horrible.
know. I'm yep.
It's horrible.
I feel you, Buzz.
I'm going to go home. I just,
I appreciate you being here.
Oh,
and sharing
thank you.
everything
Thank you
about
so
Guide.
much. I
Yes.
feel like I talk too much, but I get
Never.
excited.
It's been awesome.
I get excited.
We love hearing of this success and everything that you're doing, and it's amazing for us to be a part of it. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
we thank you.
Thank you.
and let's get your update of the weekend, Buzz. on
Oh
the
gosh,
mortgage
what
front.
another week. We're kind of in the blackout stage before another Fed meeting, which will take place next Tuesday, Wednesday. What we've seen this week, we started out good bad on Monday after the 4-day holiday. So the market kind of fell off, and then we came back on Tuesday, and it was like, okay, we're going to recover. But the last 2 or 3 days, we're back to basically where we started on Monday. So we're ending the week worse, basically, than where we started with rates. Next week is the Fed meeting. Everything is stacking up, about 85% sure that they're going to lower the rate by 25 basis points. I have a bet that they weren't, that I'm going to lose $1 to Justin. And but everybody thinks they're going to lower the rates again on Wednesday.
Great.
So that's what we're looking at. Now, here's my warning. Over the last 2 years, we've had 4 reductions from the Feds, 25 basis points each one. So we've had a full 1% reduction. Each time that the Feds have lowered their rate, our interest rates went up. Each time. So what does that say for the 5th time? Is it going to be the same? Are we going to see interest rates inch back up next week on a Fed reduction, which is really difficult to explain to our clients and to our realtor partners? But that's what I'm telling everybody to look for. We haven't seen the same run up to a Fed meeting that we've had. This has been a strange last 3 weeks. Of course, we had a holiday, but that's what we're looking at next week.
Well, hopefully the forecast is helpful and accurate. But it is one of the most common conversations, right? Is the inverse effect. and it's all about the fact that it's anticipated, right? All the adjustments are built in prior to the announcement, and barring a surprise announcement of it being 50 bips or something,
Or not at all.
or not at all. Then,
I was talking to one of the loan officers yesterday. Do I lock? Do I not? And I told her, I said, yeah, let's go ahead and lock this. Let's protect. I'm glad we did, even though we had some positive news this morning about inflation. Our rate still, at least when we went into the podcast, had ticked up a little bit. So I was glad that she locked in and to protect that client.
For sure. Well, what kind of as we're heading in, what do you think the market's going to look like in 26 on the real estate side?
So if I'm asked, what I think is we're going to have a similar year to this year. And if here's what I will say, our overall economy, I believe in the next several years is going to improve. I think we're on the right path trajectory wise, but I think there's too many unknowns to really predict. I do believe that the government at some point will do something, especially for first-time home buyers, because that's been a really key of this whole affordability conversation. So maybe there'll be some special programs to try and get the younger people into homes, because like the average age now is like 40-something. I don't know about interest rates. I don't know exactly, I'm not going to pretend to know, but I think this year will be similar, maybe better, but I don't think it's going to be like some giant change. I do know, at least in the previous cycles I've been through, when they change fast. So, it could be a really good year, but I think other than that, I would just say it's probably going to be like this year. At least that's what the smart people I follow say.
Well, that's the truth. I always tell people this industry doesn't slowly change. It usually feels like you go to bed one day and wake up the next morning, and you go from pushing to add more business to how are we going to close all the business that's in. It's always a very rapid change.
Yep.
And being prepared for it, being ready to scale, having levers that you can flip a switch and be available is one of the most important things in our industry.
Sure.
We didn't fight through and grind through and carve out a path for growth and success to not be able to capitalize on the market share. So that's the challenge. I think if you're in that's what you should be preparing for 26, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's
very cool. Well, Maureen, we're so grateful for you to spend the morning with us and,
Thank you, guys.
Record and tell the story. And I'll leave you guys with a couple, maybe any final questions before we send off.
Simplicity and execution. My 2 words for the day.
I love it. Buzzer?
I've enjoyed seeing Maureen.
Thank you,
We've been friends for a long time. And thank you for being here and being part of what we're trying to build. And I've got a bunch of your agents that I want to get in here.
Great.
Dana Miller.
Yep.
You can get, we were talking about peer pressure.
Yeah.
A couple of others that, I personally want to bring in, friends of mine. So we'll get after them.
Perfect.
We'll send you over in your Wells Fargo carriage.
That's right.
You did the first loan. Get you.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much,
All right,
Maureen.
thank you so much.
We're grateful to have you. And that is it for this week's episode of the Blitz Break. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Phil Rasmussen, and hope you all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.